What a big day in the office today for the drivers. The losers, the winners, pole position, last position, Spanish Grand Prix. My name is Oshifes Oluwadamilare. I'm a mechanic. Welcome to Exxon F1, also known as from Lawon, Colum, Africa. So, the FP3 was doused by the rain after the first 15 minutes, in which the usual suspect, Max Verstappen, was leading with about 9 tenths. Logan Sargent ran his car into the gravel and brought out the red flag. By the time the car was picked out of the dirt, the rain was in the air, so all the drivers had to come out not on slick but on tread, setting uncomfortable laps. Some came out later on slicks to see how they can perform, or to put in retrospect what is possible or what is good that can happen during the qualifying, while some came out to just simulate what they believe would happen during the qualifying, that is if it rains, because we know it's going to be certainly damp today. So a lot of times came in, but not as close to what Max Verstappen dropped on the time board. The FP2 had their sprint race right in the wet, because the rain started before the FP2 started their sprint race. They had their sprint race in the rain. The rain went out on them, but the whole track was cleaned off. All the rubbers on the track were washed off. So coming into the qualifying, the Q1 was a challenging Q1 for all the teams, because the track has lost its rubber. A lot of rubbers have been washed away from the track. So the teams were expecting track evolution, which means the track will evolve, will get better over the space of the 16 minutes of the Q1. But it brought a damaging effect to some team, like the Ferrari Charles Leclerc, qualifying in 15th position. So Charles Leclerc was out in Q1. Bottas, Magnussen, and the two Williams were out in Q1. What a surprise! But that was not the only surprise of the day, because the big teams came tumbling down to the track because the track was adequately wet. So in the Q1, Hamilton was able to top the time sheet in the Q1. Behind him was Lando Norris and his teammate George Russell. They had to struggle all through FP3 and qualifying. And let me cast your mind back. Hamilton struggled yesterday, he suffered a lot yesterday, struggled all through the FP2 yesterday and FP1. But after so much analysis, this morning he was able to go back to the rear wing on George Russell's car, the same rear wings that George Russell was able to use yesterday in his FP2. And they did some magic, some tricks on the car, which brought Hamilton closer to the battle, because I am sure Mercedes were not expecting that to happen today. So going into Q2, Hamilton was pumping in times that were mysterious, and I knew at that time the Red Bulls would be like, what is happening? Because it was getting so serious. Hamilton was able to get the right tire heat into his car, but George Russell struggled to get the same tire heat into his car. Perez struggled, and that was what happened to Charles Leclerc. He was unable to get the right tire heat into his car for him to get the performance that he needed. At the point, the rear right tire was overheating. So aside from not getting tire heat into some tires, one tire was overheating. So for the big boys, George Russell, Sergio Perez were able to lovely and beautifully crash out, or they were beautifully thumped out in Q2. They were unable to move forward to Q3. That was a surprise, a big surprise for today, because after the track had its rubber in, as in Q2, the track really rubbered in. The track evolution was high, but still, Sergio Perez, George Russell, Zhou Guanyu could not get the right tire heat into their tires, so they were out qualified by few tenths. For them to get to qualify 10th for Sergio Perez, they were out qualified in Q2. For Perez to qualify 11th, George Russell 12th, Zhou Guanyu 13th, Nick De Vries 14th, and Tsunoda 15th. So the big names fell out in Q2. Now going to Q3, it was a wonderful Q3, because Hulkenberg of the Haas was able to get into Q3, which was really a surprise. In Spain, for Hulkenberg to qualify into Q3, it was really a surprise. Now we're having 2 Alpines, 2 McLarens, and 2 Aston Martins in Q3. I think for everybody watching Formula 1 all around the world, that was a surprise. We were expecting 2 Mercedes, 2 Aston Martins, yeah, cool, 2 Aston Martins, or at least one of the Aston Martins, but the 2 Red Bulls, the 2 Ferraris, and the Alpines, certainly, because they've been competitive all through the weekend. But what a surprise for us to have McLarens. Wow. I say it again, wow. But the Red Bull of Max Verstappen was really of quality in his hand. He kept on delivering better times after better times after better times. Not a piece of the Red Bull was gotten today, as Hamilton tried to set good sectors but made his own mistakes after his teammate crashed into him at the end of Q2. I think he struggled with some body parts being cut off from his floor because that was one of the things he struggled with. So he made a lot of mistakes in Q3 for him not to be on front row. Of all, it was like 2 or 3 tenths away from the front row, which gave a certainty that the Mercedes are moving in the right direction, possibly because there is a track to test what you've been doing or what your upgrades are. Because majorly for the past 15 to 20 years, Barcelona has been the track where testing has really gone down. So almost all the drivers knows how Barcelona track has been. So for the Mercedes in the hands of Hamilton to come out shining, I think with some little touches, little upgrades, little setup, we'll see them come alive in subsequent races, challenge for podiums or challenge for wins. They're challenging for podiums already, so maybe challenge for wins. We expect them to challenge for wins very soon, or going into 2024. Mercedes have always had a good race pace, so tomorrow we're expecting them to do well. Maybe coming with 1 or 2 podiums, because I can see George Russell coming towards the top position tomorrow. I don't see the Ferrari doing well because naturally we know the Ferrari don't have a good race pace. So with Mercedes having good race pace, McLaren not having a good race pace, Alpine, that team has developed. They've really worked their way to the top and they're really showing they're meant for the top. So we are hoping to see them challenge, but I'm not seeing them challenging for positions tomorrow. I don't see them challenging for the top 3 tomorrow. They might be challenging for good positions, good points tomorrow, but not the top 3. So this is how the grid lines up in top 10 tomorrow. Verstappen on pole, making it his 24th pole of his career. Carlos Sainz second, Lando Norris third. Gasly will be under investigation. In some few hours time we'll know if he will remain in 4th position or he'll be relegated 3 positions for him to land behind his teammate. Lewis Hamilton 5th, Lance Stroll out qualifying his teammate big this time, coming in 6th. Esteban Ocon 7th. Nico Hulkenberg, what a great drive for him today, qualified 8th. Alonso, the eyes of the Spaniard people, qualifying 9th, and Oscar Piastri of the McLaren qualifying 10th. But if there's a shake-up on the grid tomorrow, Hamilton might be on the 2nd row, sitting there with Lando Norris and possibly getting the best of Lando Norris on the first lap and possibly challenging Carlos Sainz for 2nd position. And if the Mercedes can get their race pace in good shape and get their car set up very well tomorrow after their analysis of data, I think they might be coming up to give Red Bull a big run for their money or put Red Bull under a little bit of pressure. So if the Mercedes can put Red Bull under a little bit of pressure, let's see tomorrow. The race starts 2 p.m. Nigerian time. Please go all out, watch it. We love you. Ciao. If you're a builder, if you're an art collector, if you have a showroom, Pen Rated is the best place to get the artworks you need for your new buildings, for your art collections, for your showroom, for your exhibition. Pen Rated Art have one of the best murals, mosaic works, and different art patterns in Nigeria presently. And it's somebody that you can communicate with, talks to you, you tell him what you want, and he will bring the reality out for you. To contact Pen Rated Art, his number is right up here, and you can also go on social media links that are pasted right up here to check out some of his works. Thank you. Teams Gadget is for those of you that cannot easily go to the market to get your phones, your laptops, your accessories. Just place a call through. His phone number is there. It gets you the best. It's your shop plug to get you the best phones, accessories, laptops, games, and other accessories for your computer gaming experience. Contact Teams Gadget and you get them for you.